Hey guys, welcome. I hope you all are doing well. My name is Cynthia. If you follow me on Instagram, then you may have seen my post about my latest Airbnb property. So this flat has been live on Airbnb now for about 1 month, and I just want to give you guys a little update on how it's doing and some tips on how to get started and how to actually make money on Airbnb. But before we dive into this video, please subscribe to my channel. My bumpy eye would truly appreciate it. So how is it going? I'll share everything from setup to how much money we've made and everything else in between, and you can drop me a comment to let me know if you think it's going well or not. Make sure to watch till the end of this video because I'm going to be sharing every single thing, even the mistakes that I made that cost me money, and exactly how much we made from this listing in the very first month. And this is not my first property on Airbnb. I've been doing Airbnb for over 3 years now, but I'm just talking about my very latest listing. So first up, we'll talk about setting up and listing the property. So I actually had fun listing this property, as I always do. For me, the listing stage is the most tedious, but I actually enjoy just seeing like the before and the after pictures and just like really appreciating the whole process of setting up and listing the property. This is a little tip for you. When you're listing your property, you may want to consider what type of listing you want to have. So whether it's high-end, luxe Airbnb, really cheap and affordable, or just something in between. Most of my listings are definitely in betweeners. Once you have decided what type of listing you want, the next step is to furnish it and always keep track of like the cost of furnishing as well. There's no point spending so much money on furnishing for a listing that you can only make a few pounds a night. It took us about 10 days to be fully set up, but I already listed this property even way before it was completely set up and started getting those bookings come through. But another tip that I have for you guys is always make sure that you list your property before it's ready. I do this every time, and that just helps us with getting our bookings coming in. Even before your listing is ready, you already have some bookings lined up coming in once you're live, which only means one thing: you're about to make some money. The next thing that we'll talk about is bookings. I couldn't have asked for more when it comes to bookings with this flat for our first month. We had an occupancy rate for about over 80%, which means we had more than 25 nights booked in our very first month, which is quite astonishing for the first month on Airbnb with no reviews or any sort of listing history for this particular property. When it comes to booking, I have things like instant book on, which just allows people to book your place automatically without me having to approve it first, as long as they meet the minimum requirements based on the options we have on Airbnb. Any other guests that don't meet this requirement, I'd have to manually approve it. I also leave my booking window open for as far as 12 months in advance, so people can search and find and also book my place anytime within the 12 months period. And I also offer early bird discounts as well for people who book ahead of time. Next thing is cancellation. One thing you can always expect with an Airbnb business is cancellations. There's going to be so many of them. People are going to cancel for like the oddest reason. Personally, I do not worry too much about cancellations because I know it will get booked again. The only time it bothers me a little bit is when I have the same day cancellations where the guest booked like say five or more nights and cancels on the check-in day. But I now use some of Airbnb policies to ensure that I still get part of my payout from such listings no matter when they cancel, which really helps soften the blow. And what happens is when I get such cancellations, I manually reduce the nightly price on my Airbnb calendar for those cancelled nights, so that the last minute bookers like myself can snatch it up for a really discounted price, and that way it's a win-win for everyone. Okay, so the next thing is nightly price. I do some market research in the area to understand what sort of rates people are asking for. Also using Airbnb's smart pricing too, I set the base and max prices on what similar properties are asking for. So Airbnb really does all the hard work for you. Based on demand, they will either reduce or increase your nightly rate. So here's another tip for you. When you first list a property on Airbnb, you want to be slightly cheaper than your competition, especially because you need those first few guests to come in straight away so you can get some reviews. After that, you can always tweak the prices a little bit, take it up, take it down, whatever you need to do really. Personally, when I first list a property, I always use the extra 20% off for the first 3 guests option on Airbnb to actually get those first first bookings locked down as soon as possible, really, because we need those reviews, because obviously those first few reviews are what's going to really help your Airbnb business or listing thrive. In terms of pricing, I do have additional charges like pet fee, cleaning fee, and extra guest fee. Don't forget to add your additional charges. They really go a long way to maximize your earnings on Airbnb. Next thing we're talking about is cleaning. My whole cleaning process is quite automated. My housekeeper has access to our calendar, so she knows exactly when to clean, how many guests are checking in, so she leaves the exact number of towels, snacks, and bottles of water, because I always make sure I have water ready for my guests when they arrive. We clean on every checkout day. Another important tip is that make sure you always clean on checkout day. Even if you don't have anyone checking in for the next few days or even weeks, it's just good practice to clean on checkout day for two reasons, really. One, so when you get that last minute booking, the space is already clean and you don't have to start running around like a headless chicken trying to sort cleaning out last minute. The second reason is you also know instantly if the guests damaged any item, so you can make a claim back from Airbnb, as you only have a limited time to claim for damages by your guests. This cleaning is one of the most important parts of hosting an Airbnb, so you have to make sure you get it right. So the next thing is reviews. So it's obvious your first few reviews are really the most important thing for you, your new Airbnb business. So you have to actually do your best to make sure you deliver an exceptional experience for your guests. Currently, we have about 6 reviews on this particular listing, which actually really isn't bad for the first month. But our first review was a bit of a nightmare. So our very first Airbnb guest left us a really nasty review. And normally, bad reviews don't usually upset me, especially when I know or understand where it has come from. They left us the nastiest 1-star review I've had in my entire 3 years of doing this business. I might just pop a picture somewhere here. He basically said the house was the dirtiest house he had ever seen, and it was just nasty, and I was a terrible host. The house was nasty and inhabitable, which I really didn't understand, because if I personally walked into a dirty house or an inhabitable house, I will contact the host straight away to say, listen, what is this? I can't stay here. So I don't know how he stayed an entire 2 to 3 nights in an inhabitable house without saying anything, and then to just be hit in the face with that terrible review. And a 1-star review as the only review you have on Airbnb is literally bad for business. We ended up getting 5 more reviews, and most of them were 5 stars. So I'm quite happy with where we are right now with our reviews. So the next is automated messages. So we do have a lot of automated messages. Once a booking is confirmed, we have an automated message that goes out to the guests instantly. We also have automated checkouts and check-in messages sent to our guests at 9 a.m. on the day of their check-in, and the checkout message is sent at 9 p.m. on the night before they check out. Next thing is linens and towels. So for this particular flat, we use a linen company. They provide clean linens and they come and collect the dirty ones when it's due. So we don't really have to bother much about linens and towels and doing the laundry. They deliver and collect every 2 weeks, and the process is quite automated too, and the drivers have details on how to get in and where to drop and collect the linen. So it's all kind of like smooth sailing, really. So now the next part is income. So this is obviously the juicy part. Are you ready? So before we got this property, while I was sort of doing my analysis and all that, I kind of predicted that we would be making about £4,500 to £5,000 a month, and after our expenses were deducted, we would make between £2,000 to £3,000 profit, which wasn't really bad. However, we almost doubled that prediction. Are you ready? Hold on tight, because this might knock you off your seat. Can we have a little drum roll, please? In our first month of this property being live on Airbnb, we made £8,047. So let's just round it up to £8,000. And this is from a total of 9 bookings. So now let's do some calculations. The rent on this flat is about £1,800 a month. The bills come up to about £400. The maintenance to run this property has cost about £765. And the maintenance includes things like cleaning, extras, linens, and all of that. So all our monthly expenses comes up to about £2,965 a month. Let's just round that up to £3,000. So when you deduct the monthly expenses, £3,000 from our total income this month, which was about £8,047, Our profit for the month is a total of £5,027. Let's just round it down to £5,000, which is absolutely insane for a property that we do not own. The property that we make from our business goes right back into funding the business and obviously acquiring more investment properties. And we're already looking for our next investment property and already have a few deals lined up and in the pipelines, which I'm kind of excited about. So all things considered, I would say it's been a great first month for me with this listing on Airbnb. Let me know what your experience has been like. If you're looking to start an Airbnb business, also ask any questions or concerns you may have in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to help you get started. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, please don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and turn on post notifications for more. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.